You're listening to Krista Lambert and Brad Atkins on From the Cheap Seats. Two guys who knew more about sports than all those guys who used to work at ESPN.
Welcome to From the Cheap Seats, everybody. I'm Krista Lambert, Brandon Atkins, and Professor Trent Nichols hanging out right here in Central North Carolina. Appreciate you stopping by. What do you guys want to talk about this morning?
Good morning.
Because normally I'm like, I really don't know how we're going to start the show, and today I legitimately have no idea how we're going to start the show.
Let's just start. When we're testing mics and headphones and all this stuff, we have a tendency to break out in song or rap. And I just want to make a note that this morning you chose to up your street cred with a little bit of Eric B. and Rakim, and then you went straight downhill with Vanilla Ice.
I think I did to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did.
If you were in the, one of those hip-hop rap magazines, the whole segment in there, in one of the sections in there were like how you were up here. You started from the top, and now you're here.
I do have to admit that in 1990, I went to a club in Killeen, Texas, right near Fort Hood. Probably, even as an underage young man, had been imbibing some adult beverages.
No.
And decided during a karaoke night at this particular bar that I was going to break out and do Ice Ice Baby. And it's one of those moments, I don't know, are you a karaoke guy?
No.
No?
I like to watch.
Trent, I bet you'll kill some karaoke.
I love karaoke.
Pound it up. So you get none because well, that's Vanilla Ice on the phone there. I decided I was going to do Ice Ice Baby, and it was one of those moments in life where I had a vision of how I came across with it, and I killed it. And I walked off, and as I'm walking off this little platform they had set up, I'm looking around, and everybody in the place is like, oh, dear. So, they say that smart people learn from their mistakes, but really smart people learn from other mistakes. I just don't learn because fast forward to, 10 years later, maybe 15 years later, and the last time that I was in New Orleans, I went out and we ended up in a karaoke bar on Bourbon Street. And I got up in this place, and it was raucous. It was crazy. And, you're in New Orleans, and it's like everybody has talent. But I decided that I was going to do my very own rendition of Lump by Presidents of the United States of America. And I didn't just, as you normally would on a karaoke stage, get up and just sort of stand there and own the song. No, I worked the crowd like I was David Lee Roth or something, man. And I was working it. Not a great night. Not a great night. But, Trent, I want to know, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, I like to get the crowd involved, so I do my go-to that I do pretty darn good if I don't say so myself.
Oh, yeah?
That might be one of those things where I think I'm better than I am, but...
I'm sure that it is, but what's the song? You're killing it.
Can I take a stab at it?
Yeah.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Nope.
Okay.
Friends in Low Places.
Oh, that's a sellout, man.
Yeah,
You're just playing to
I know.
the callbacks. Everybody else is going to jump in. Nobody can do a bad Friends in Low Places.
Exactly.
Because everybody's going to sing it.
Why not just do, if you're going down that road, Jimmy Buffett, Fins to the Left, Fins to the Right, which is easily one of the worst songs I've ever had to sit through forever. Because in college, I dated a girl who loved Jimmy Buffett.
I will, the next time we go anywhere where there is karaoke being done, and we do find ourselves in establishments that serve lots of alcohol, and karaoke seems to be a thing, I'll pay your bill if you'll do a Jimmy Buffett tune karaoke.
I might consider it, but you were talking about when you were a younger man, you would do it on the flip side.
I don't get it twisted. I'll do it still.
You still do it.
Oh, yeah. And there is a particular song.
There's a reason why I didn't do it. It's because I and still do like women. And so they don't want to see that.
They don't
want to see that. Then...
And frankly, my wife is horrified by the whole concept of karaoke. She's a bit of an introvert. So people staring at her is like her worst nightmare.
See, and that's why I love it, because I want to be on stage. I want to be that center of attraction. That's why I also bust out American Pie,
I can dig
because
that. I can dig that.
I have 13 minutes to either bore the
stupid,
heck out of those
dude.
drunks, but I'm up on stage.
I like that. So I do have to tell you,
Trent's got a twinkle in his eye too.
he does. He's
is
all
like-
fired up. Well, you do know now. He showed up at auditions for the Temple Theater several years ago, and I was like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yes." And he got up there, and most of your auditions for musical theater involve a song, not with Trent Nichols. No. Trent shows up and does just a monologue. And he gets up and he does this monologue, and it's very ironic. He does this monologue, and I'm listening, and I'm like, that's a long monologue for an audition. Normally, you get 45 seconds, 90 seconds tops. He goes on for like 5 minutes with this monologue. I'm like, wow, this guy is like a mastercraft actor. How did he commit this to memory? And he comes out, and we walk back out, and I was like, that was dope. And he said, oh, thanks, man. And I said, where's that from? Because I'm not familiar. And he's like, I just made it up. And I'm like, you mean you wrote it? No, I just made it up while I was there on stage. I was like, that's not exactly how a monologue works, Trent.
Yeah,
and he's like, I didn't have time. And bounced. And then he actually got offered a job in a show. And he was like, I'm too busy. Yeah. So he just big time. And he's like, I was here, drop mic, I'm out. And then, didn't take the gig. But I have to let you guys know that my choice song, and my wife has never gotten to see me do this, and we actually ran into some old friends of mine a couple years ago, and one of them said, you do the best rendition of this particular song I've ever heard. It's better than the original. And I'm like, no. And he's, no, really. And his wife was there and had seen me do it before and was like, it's a lot of fun. I'm overselling this just a little bit.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Trying to figure it
Give
out.
a guess. I've already said the artist's name during this little 5 minutes of wasted airtime.
I was gonna guess all my ready friends coming over tonight, but I haven't heard
a Johnny Cash song with your voice.
No, I do David Lee Roth's Just a Gigolo.
Really?
Yeah, and it's pretty good. Bozy, bozy, bop, skitty bop. Yes, I do.
Wow.
But we have a good time with it. And my wife, that's something that anytime we're somewhere and there's like a karaoke sign, she's heard it. And she knows that my daughters and I, my 4 kids, that's one of our things is to play rock band. And, no matter what was going on, I wanted to be the vocalist. And I can't sing a lick.
And you know what?
I'll belt it out and I'll own it.
And you know what?
What's that?
Eddie Van Halen would fire you too.
Wow. That's hurtful. Man.
Well, you would. I was telling you that I was using it as a compliment. You would try to take over, and the Van Halens don't like that.
That's why you're my dog.
So you would big time them, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
the name on the album is Van Halen, and you're big timing us.
We should just mash it up. Van Lambert.
See, I've done a drunken version of The Gambler from Kenny Rogers.
All right,
and I've
nice.
actually done 3 times Kanye West Gold Digger.
Shut up.
Oh.
So
Dude.
if I find you guys at karaoke, I'll show you my Kanye.
No, because we've been talking about putting together a couple of sort of greatest hits, timeless shows that we can run if, the place ever gets struck by lightning and we can't record on time and get our show out there. But your Gold Digger has to be a part of that. I'm thinking the Jones Angel interview, a couple of Jay Bliss calls, and Trent doing Gold Digger. That's a show. That's a show.
Don't you think David Kaplan
and David dropping trivia that nobody knows the answer to? Yes,
and
perfect.
walking
That's
out.
perfect radio.
Talk about big time in us.
Yeah, right.
David Kaplan would probably pick up an Eddie Money song.
He would. He's
that'd
an
be an
Eddie.
Eddie
I
Money.
can see that. Or no, he'd do the Des Money
The
show.
Des Money.
Yeah. Trent has no idea what we're talking about.
Well,
we
yeah.
figured out while we were playing golf the other day
I
that
just laughed.
Eddie Money was playing in Raleigh, and I think at some point somebody actually seriously considered going to the show. But Eddie Money, man, who doesn't love Eddie Money?
I don't.
He's an American icon. He's a treasure.
He's a national treasure.
He's a national treasure. There's some Eddie Money bumpers coming for this show very, very soon.
He's a piece of Americana.
Yes, indeed. Trent, talk to me real quickly about this North Carolina Little League team, man. They're in fuego.
Yeah, the guys from our boys from Greenville. I mean, they're in the elimination round now. They're down there in Williamsport, and they go out the first day. And I can't remember. I think they were playing Texas, and combined, they had a perfect game.
That's awesome.
It's unbelievable. Then yesterday, they're going against California, and you think about California, they represent a lot in the Little League. There's a lot of great talent out there.
Yep.
These boys come out 2 days later and no-hit the California team, beat them 16-0, and they call the game in the 5th inning.
Well, a no-hitter is one thing because, you get one big kid out there that can, whip it around. A perfect game in Little League is, really, really impressive.
Unbelievable. I mean, with the control and all that stuff, not to walk a batter.
Not to walk a batter, no errors, no third strike wild pitches. I mean, that's impressive.
So I think they've put themselves on the map where these other kids are going, shoot, we have got to get lucky to try to beat this North Carolina team.
Well, Greenville, man, big weekend for Greenville, right?
Yeah.
We were out at the Wyndham, not on press credentials, but on VIP.
VIP.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Will Du Bois. Thank you, Sistel.
I will say,
thank you, Tito's Hornitos.
Well, I will tell you this. I know what you were talking about, but it was in Greensboro.
Yes.
But Greenville was in the house.
Exactly.
I know what you mean.
Who knew that we would go to a PGA event and an ECU football game would break out?
Purple and gold
everywhere.
Was in the house.
Well, so they must have been listening, and when we happened to insult them for not showing up.
Man.
But the truth is, they represent. Quietly, they represent.
It's funny that you say that because that was part of the narrative. We talked to a lot of people while we were out there, and anybody that had any sort of ECU rooting interest was out there. You were args all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Varner III out there doing his thing. Best finish of the year. I'm stealing Dave Kaplan's segment. But those cats,
good.
They had the tent set up. They were out there wearing, purple and gold was everywhere. Those folks represent. So props to ECU.
Yeah.
They support their athletes and their alums unlike anybody else in the state.
Okay, now you're just trying to make up for previous shows. No, they were.
That's exactly what just happened. I'm glad you saw that.
Hey, I have Akeem Richardson, a local boy. I have his autographed ECU jersey hanging up at the Buffalo Wild Wings here in Sanford.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
And he's the all-time leading scorer, I believe, for that that team.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You grew up knowing you could do anything. As a soldier in the U.S. Army, you'll test your limits and feel the pride of doing things you never thought possible. With guaranteed training in one of more than 150 career fields, up to $40,000 cash enlistment bonus, you'll earn a steady paycheck, get money for college, and gain valuable experience while you learn how to be a valued team leader. To find out more, call your local Army recruiter or visit us at goarmy.com. There's strong, and then there's Army strong.
The V Foundation and board member Robin Roberts are dedicated to declaring victory over cancer by funding cutting-edge research.
Jim Valvano's greatest legacy is the V Foundation. You can help join the fight, give the gift of time. We need passion, we need teamwork and momentum. The time to act is now. There's not a moment to lose.
Every dollar counts. Every day counts. To find out how you can join us to defeat cancer, please visit jimmyv.org.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career that I could be proud of.
At DAV, we're on a mission, helping veterans of all generations get the benefits they've earned.
I'm Cece. My victory was finishing my education.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Welcome back to From the Cheap Seats.
All right, I'm Kristen Lambert, Brandon Atkins, Professor Trent Nichols, and we're joined by Diamond Dave Kaplan, which means it's time to talk golf. And just wanted to, sort of in line with Brandon and his constant announcements about having played in that Pro-Am down at Pinehurst.
This is Tobacco Road.
Oh, was it Tobacco Road?
It was a BB&T Pro-Am. I know that much.
Yeah.
And it's
so what's the brother got to do to get invited to the Pro-Am next year? That's all I need to know. Who I need to talk to?
BB&T.
Jimmy Keene, I'm
Jimmy
looking
Keene.
at you.
Jimmy Keene's the guy.
All right,
Jimmy
I'm looking at you.
Let's
bud.
call him up.
You know what? Let's bring him in studio. Then we'll really
He'll
put him
be-
on the spot,
yeah,
make him
he'll be
commit
stuck.
to it.
But let's not do trivia. Let's
not ask trivia questions that we don't know the answer to. That's bad form.
Jimmy Keene would have known David Kaplan's
He
trivia
probably would
question.
have. You do realize, you don't come out because you're like bars, weekday. No, not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we host trivia at Libations.
At Libations, Thursday night.
No, it's on Wednesday nights. It's every other Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm at choir practice.
I know you are.
You can't.
Speaking of choir practice, I bet you're a karaoke guy.
Not really.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Little
Oh,
chicken
yeah,
fry,
you are. Get you
chicken
lubed
fry.
up a little bit.
Oh, Zach Brown?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zach Brown, chicken fry.
Are you
That's
a
good,
tenor guy?
I'm a baritone.
Nice. A baritone with really awesome sport coats.
Monogram
So,
baritone.
what you don't know is that Jimmy Keene is like, when he shows up, he's got his own walk-up music.
Yeah,
That's
he
how
does.
good he and his team are at trivia. They're that strong. Multiple wins.
Oh yeah, don't
Him and his team.
Yeah, it's a team. It's a team sport.
Oh,
Who's
the
on his
bankers.
team?
I don't know.
They must
Some
not
really
have been
smart
there
guys.
this week.
Mark Stewart's on his team. I've heard that he is kind of like the secret sauce of that team.
Oh, I got
Those guys are no joke. Now Trent filled in for me this past week, and
Yeah,
by all
probably won.
accounts, did an amazing job, and I appreciate that because
Oh, you're the DJ.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
a DJ.
My agent.
Your agent's
My
starting
agent
to work. I got you.
got me an unpaid job. It was awesome, though. I loved it.
Hey, you know,
Well, we know about unpaid jobs.
I had to go. I had to go watch John Mayer, and honestly, Trent knows this. By the time it got to be that Wednesday, I had so many things going on. I was like, I don't even want to go. And about half of one song in, my wife and I looked at each other and like, this is amazing. So I'm glad that I got to go do that. I'm glad Trent
It was
filled in
no
for
Eddie
me.
money.
And it was no Eddie money for sure, because that wouldn't have been what we'd have been saying had it been Eddie money.
Kaplan, we're about to
Nedge
talk.
would have been shaking.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're about to start talking about more golf, but as we mentioned before,
That's what you think.
As we mentioned before, we went to the Wyndham in Greensboro, had a blast.
VIP.
Thank you,
That's the
Sistel. Thank you, Sistel.
It's a shame we didn't get to go because we had other.
Yeah.
David was probably in choir practice, but you make the key
was at the
comment that it is VIP, and what Chris hasn't seen yet, I snuck the VIP tag
Oh,
in
I
here
see it.
Nice.
by his Wyndham collection over there. But just real quick story, we're walking through, and they got tents. They got tents everywhere, drink tents, food. I mean, it's just like you can't take 8 steps, and these VIP tents are littered throughout the golf course. Where we're walking through, and I kind of have to use the bathroom, and there's this tent, and I look closer, I'm like, hey, I hadn't read anything, and I look at Chris and say, hey, listen, do you think we can get in that tent? And I said, oh wait, it says open to the public, and Chris says this, open to the public. We don't go into places that are open to the public.
Wait, are you sure he didn't say this? Open to the public?
Yeah.
We don't go into no places open to the public.
Y'all can keep that open to the public stuff over there. We're going to go ahead and VIP tent.
I ain't getting rid of some of this Mick Ultra on some open to the public.
Oh no, there was no Mick Ultra. There was many Bloody Marys.
Ooh. Oh.
That's my thing.
That's a health
when I'm
drink.
out. Yeah, I mean, trying to stay hydrated, get your vitamins and all the rest of that. Yeah, no, that's when I'm out in the sun doing something like that. It's Bloody Marys, and this guy, between the Bud Light and the Bloody Marys, we had a great time. The food was amazing. Thank you, Sistel, one more time. And just a shout out to Will Du Bois, because he's probably listening. What's it going to take to get 4 passes? Because I got these guys staring at me doe-eyed like, yeah, you and Brandon must have had a really good time.
I have a question.
Yeah. Well, and just before I stop with that, we did have an opportunity to get press credentials for the tournament, and we may do that next year. But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, press credentials, VIP.
So what you're
the
saying
professional
is
responsible thing's not going to happen. I'm going to go get drunk. How's that?
what you're saying is me and Dave will be press credentialed,
Yeah, we'll be
and you guys will
we'll
be VIP.
interview Grayson Murray.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And Grayson Murray, who missed the cut, we actually adopted a new golfer. We've decided we like Harold Varner III better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we gave up on you getting, an interview with us. We were kind of lobbying Harold Varner's entire family, and when I say entire family, I mean like entire family tree was out at the Wyndham cheering him on. Varner had his best finish of the year, finished top 10, and made the FedEx top 125. So he's in the FedEx playoff. Yeah, that's an amazing thing. That's awesome. So good for ECU. Yeehaw. I do have to follow on with Brandon's story, making fun of me about the whole VIP thing, and it sounds worse than it is, but that is almost exactly what happened. The irony there is that as we walked down about another 50 yards, there was a members tent, and we saw it, and up to that point, nobody told us no anywhere, right. And we were like, yeah, let's jump in there and get another drink. And we got there, and the lady didn't even tell us we couldn't come in.
She just started
She just shook her head.
No.
And apparently this was a members and guests, like members of Sedgefield Club. And, she didn't even, never spoke to us. Just shook her head. No. No.
One thing I will point out real quick, we did follow HV3 and DL3. They were paired together. And you always think, as an outsider, you're watching. You're like, if anybody makes a mistake that you would make, we would think that you find that entertaining. So DL3 is on the fringe. That one shot where the ball's right against the fringe, and you're on and your backswing, is going to be screwy and all that. Well, he knows, because he's one of the best. He needs to just get it right on the green, and it's going to do the rest of the work. And he flubs it, and it goes like a foot.
Yep.
And it just stops, and it's like I lean over. I'm like, that's a Brandon Atkins shot right there. But I was more impressed than actually going ha, because he steps right up to it and makes this gorgeous putt. He didn't sink it, but to have all those people looking at you, you're a pro, and then you flub it, and then you're like,
yeah,
that's
it didn't go 18 inches, and it was we were like, wow. But my favorite part with Davis Love III is we were in this group that was traveling, following Varner and Love, and there was one particular guy that was walking along with us who was having a one-sided conversation with Davis Love III the whole way. Remember that guy? And he's like, "Come on, Davis."
Was he talking about Workday? Yeah. Was he talking about Workday?
Huh?
Yeah, isn't that his sponsor on his hat? And there's a commercial, and they're talking about labor force, and Davis Love's getting ready to putt, and he says, well, if you used Workday services. Anyway.
Oh, that's that wasn't it. This guy kept giving, he had this ongoing pep talk.
No, he was
Davis,
just
play to win.
Pepping him up.
Yeah, he was
Come
like,
on, Davis.
All of a sudden he would yell, "Come on, DL3, play to win." And I look at Chris, I'm like, what do you think he thinks about that?
He's 53. He doesn't need money.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that Davis Love showed up and was like,
I'm going to play for 10th.
I don't know if I'm going to play to win. But this guy said so. So
he's not James Harden.
I'm going to play to win now.
It probably didn't bother him, but what if you're DL3 and he's clearly a Carolina Tar Heel, and you see nothing but purple and gold following you? It's got to be kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
ECU in the house.
Apparently, I almost got in a fight with Soren Kelton's caddy and didn't know. We had seen him a couple places on the course and, kind of gave a, what's up, having a good round, whatever. And Soren was a nice guy. And as we came off, I guess his caddy was sore because he'd fallen off the leaderboard and came in at about 12 under. And as we were walking by, back down toward 18, I said, I don't know, something, great job, something like that, something innocuous. And I didn't catch it, but Brandon, went on full red alert. And was like, did you see that look? And I don't know. What'd you see, man?
No, I mean, we were standing around, play to win guy. And apparently he had been there a couple of days. This just wasn't his only day like us. And apparently this guy's caddy is always chirping at people about.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Stop moving back there, and he'll stop, kind of play, and he's trying to embarrass people. I'm like, dude, come on, get over yourself. Mm-hmm. But he looked at Chris like, don't even look me in the eye. Keep your eyes down. Don't talk to my
it was something
golfer.
else, man.
Well,
and this wasn't like during play. This was after the round was over.
Right,
so,
right.
But yeah, I did love that he was.
They expect for you to know where they are at any given moment.
Well, I mean, it was over. What was I going to tell him? You really suck today, dude. Yeah. It was amazing to me.
And don't do that. Another bit of advice, don't ever ask a question of anybody who works for CBS.
Oh, my God.
Because I asked this guy a question, and I didn't quite get it right. And so I kind of altered my question. He goes, well, you just asked me 3 questions, so let me try to answer the first one first. Just real salty.
Right.
And kind of hurt my feelings. I'm not going to lie.
But I am convinced, though, that guy from CBS Sports, who shall remain nameless, I think he believed Brandon was trying to pick him up.
Yeah.
And as I was sort of separated from the conversation and I was sort of watching it go on, I'm not sure he wasn't. Yeah. Just going to say. But no, it was, CBS Sports kind of salty, and they wouldn't let us drive the camera cart with the big boom camera on it. That was a little disappointing.
You're listening to Krista Lambert and Brandon Adkins on From the Cheap Seats, a production of Cheap Seats Radio.
When I was just a tiny baby, I was stolen from my parents. I was imprisoned in a cramped cage and was touched and photographed completely against my will, solely for somebody's profit. Then I started to grow bigger, and they locked me away for life.
If you knew that was the life of a tiger cub, would you still pay to pet her? Learn how they're exploited through petting and photo ops at cubabuse.com.
Hello, I'm Rob Beckley, lead singer of the band Pillar. I served in the Army Reserve for 8 years, and it taught me lessons in teamwork, leadership, and organizational skills that I still use today. Serving part-time in the Army Reserve also offers skill training, money for college, and bonuses up to $20,000. So if you're up to the challenge, talk to your local Army Reserve recruiter today or check us out online at goarmyreserve.com. You too can be Army strong in the Army Reserve.
Everyone deserves a decent place to live.
Everyone.
Todos. Decent shelter is something we all need to thrive. Through shelter, we empower. Visit Habitat.org to donate today.